Well, good morning, public speaking class, and welcome to another in a series of me speaking to empty chairs. I really wish you were here for me to have a conversation with you about patterns of organization for the informative speech. I know that topic sounds thrilling, but at the same time, I really want you to be able to select the best pattern for your topic. Okay? This is materials gone over in chapter 12 of the 5th edition of your textbook, and of course in other editions, because I know a lot of you have bought older, or I know that we have a 6th edition as well. It's a different chapter number, but just make sure you find patterns of organization, okay? So the first I want to cover, the first pattern is chronological, okay? We've already gone over the introduction and the conclusion. Now I want to focus on the body of the speech. So chronological is a pattern you've already used. All of you, hopefully, have given your bag speech, and how did you break up the main points? Past, present, and future. And so this is a good pattern for topics like historical figures, okay? So for instance, I've had a lot of speeches about Gandhi, okay? And a lot of people didn't know that when Gandhi was a young man in his early years, he was an attorney, and he helped Indians in South Africa, actually is where he lived, fight for their rights. In his midlife, we know that he helped emancipate India from England, and he died later on of religious strife. He was actually assassinated. So it's very broad, but you can identify 3 really important points in Gandhi's life, okay? If you wanted to identify and speak about a more current figure, so for instance, Congressman John Lewis just passed away, and you could talk about his life in his early years, midlife, and then just before he passed away, basically how he has been a proponent of voting rights. So you also can look at any kind of historical movements, the civil rights movement, right? In terms of a chronology, a timeline. And that's really what we're doing, is looking at something from a timeline, okay? Just like you did with your life in the bag speech. So, moving on, we have topical. And really, it's just subtopics of an overarching topic. So, for instance, I've heard a lot of speeches about diabetes. And diabetes might be, you're going to break that down in a couple main points, or 3 main points. You might look at type 1, type 2, and treatments. Now, really, you might, for a 6-minute speech, you might just focus on one of these main points. But I think you can understand that, really, with topical, you're just breaking it down into subtopics. And hopefully, each subtopic, each main point is interesting to the audience, that you're keeping in mind who your audience is. The audience analysis is still informing not only your topic choice, but your main point choice. So moving on to spatial. Now spatial is when you want to organize your speech based on direction or geography, right? So for instance, I've heard speeches about gentrification. So gentrification in Sacramento, and in the Oak Park neighborhoods, and neighborhoods in Midtown, as well as neighborhoods in downtown. So we're looking at geography and organizing it that way. I know that once upon a time I was really interested and surfed quite a bit, and when I came to California, if I asked somebody what's the most popular surf spots, okay? They might say, start in Northern California, at Steamer Lane in Santa Cruz, if you know where the lighthouse is. Head down the coast to Central Coast, maybe Ventura County line, or Rincon near Santa Barbara, and then finish in Black's Beach in San Diego. So you're going from north to south, there's a geography, okay? So that's spatial, and then ProCon. ProCon isn't in your textbook, the other 3 are. ProCon is where you can take a controversial topic and present it in a way that hopefully is neutral, is balanced. Okay, so for instance, you give a background about the gun control. Okay, actually very broad topic. So let's go with the assault rifle ban. Okay, in the 90s, and arguments for an assault rifle ban and arguments against an assault rifle ban. Okay, and hopefully at the end of the speech, your audience can't tell which way you're leaning, meaning most people will give a speech, a ProCon speech, and then use that speech or the same topic for their persuasive speech. So especially in an 8-week class, you might think about that because you could use the research from your informative speech in your persuasive speech. So that's something to consider if you're going to give a speech about the assault rifle ban. For the persuasive speech, and you're going to take a position on it, you can use that information, that research. However, for this speech, really try not to take a position, or at least demonstrate bias one way or the other. It can be difficult. Okay, I once had a student who gave a speech about horse racing, and you could tell that she was not in favor of horse racing. She tried to give a ProCon, give background on horse racing, arguments for, it's provides jobs and entertainment, and then arguments against. She put up a video of a horse being euthanized on a track, right? And it was really gut-wrenching. So you really have to be aware how weighted you are one way or the other. It turned out that woman was, an equestrian, animal rights advocate, especially for horses, and you could tell in this informative speech. Okay, so be aware of that. But these are the 4 patterns of organization for an informative speech. If you have any questions, if you're interested in using a pattern that I haven't put up here, please talk to me about it. And zoom in if you have questions, email me. I'd really like to help you organize your speech, and I'll definitely read drafts of your outline. Okay? So there will be a topic assignment. There will be a informative outline worksheet assignment, and of course your formal outline that will be based off of one of these patterns. Okay? Have a good day. If you have any questions, please contact me. Take care.